We got a massive SEC matchup this Saturday against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Whoever makes the big plays, as they say. I mean, there's going to be, like we talked about, 6 to 8 plays in a game. Good, or maybe sometimes not good. That's going to determine the outcome of the game. And I love what Coach Heupel says too. It's all about one-on-one matchups, and I love that. Look at this guy. What are you doing?
What are you doing, man?
Hey, I was just asking him, where has he been? What are you doing, big guy? What's up, bro? The offense is phenomenal. I mean, shoot, Dustin. I mean, what Coach Heupel and Coach Halsey and those guys do offensively with the splits, the formations. And here's the best part about it. They spread you because they want to run it.
Yeah, Joey's been fun to kind of watch. I think he takes your approach when he's dealing with the guys, the young receivers or guys that have been here longer than him. When Joey talks to his receiver, he's like you. He's like, I'm going to have 5 positive interactions before I have a criticism. Welcome to the Vol Club. We got Rock Media live, and we got somebody joining us from the West Coast that donned the name Iceman. Iceman Casey Clausen is joining us today. Can't wait to get him back here in Knoxville. We got a massive SEC matchup this Saturday against the Georgia Bulldogs. We couldn't be more excited. I'm back in Knoxville these past 2 years, and I thought, man, we got to get some love for the Vol for Life. And so that's what Rock Media is doing. And so excited to have you on HangTime. It's Iceman Casey Clausen.
Dustin, how we doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Man, I'm doing great. First, I want to say thanks for coming on with us today. I think it's crucial to let our fans, past and present, know and honor all the guys that came before some of these players that we're watching in present day, orange and white. Nobody wore it better than you. I think you're in second in every passing category at this school. You came all the way from California, class of 2000, that made up Jabari Greer and Jason Witten. I mean, the list goes, Baker, the list goes on. And Cedric, to use, like, I can't imagine looking back at some of our classes, leading up to the 98 championship, 99, and then we all come in 2000. Talk about your first steps on Rocky Top soil, playing in front of that crowd, and what it was like, even going on the road. Like, you had some huge games, for the Vols. I think about, this name has not been brought up very much, but I think about James Banks almost every day and your all's connection. But talk about Big Orange football.
Yeah, it was awesome growing up as a kid on the West Coast. I used to always watch the late game for us on the West Coast was the ESPN 4 o'clock game, which was usually the primetime game, 7 o'clock, which is SEC. It was either Tennessee, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, somebody. And I was fortunate enough to come out there and be recruited by Tennessee, and obviously had a great experience. My biggest thing with just the fan base was just the excitement. And Tennessee, when we came in, recruited nationally. So the best thing about our group was guys from, Hawaii, Nevada, California, as well as, Texas, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, etc. And for me, just competing with the guys every single week and was fun. Playing in Neyland was unbelievable. The environment, 6,000, 7,000, back in the day that we had. And then obviously going on the road, I enjoyed it. I loved playing in somebody else's, backyard with the passion that the fans had. And obviously football in the South is the best. It always has been. It always will be. So to be able to come together as a group and have 4 great years, not just on the field, but off the field, which I'm sure we'll get into, was a fun time and a great time.
When you just said that, going on the road, you have places like the Swamp, Tuscaloosa, Athens. Like, there's some tough environments that we have to go in, but we get a heads up on that just because Neyland's the best place to play. It's the loudest place to play. It's since I've been back, it has turned into more of an event and a religion than even so when we were here. Just with just a DJ, and we had the fireworks, but like it's on steroids. It's like Major League Baseball a little bit.
Yep.
There's not too many SEC quarterbacks that can put in their list of accomplishments going into the swamp and winning both times. Talk about that for our fans.
I just think it was, for our group, it was more of a mindset. I think, Coach Fulmer always used to say that they put their pads kind of similar how we put our pads on, and used to date the same girls we used to date, right? So for us, it was more of just like an attitude of like, all right, let's just go and have fun and compete. I think I try to keep it loose as much as I could. I know the fan base and some of the coaches were a little tight, as we would say, right? But we try to keep it fun, just keep it loose, and just come out. I used to always come out aggressive and try to put some points on the board early, throw around a little bit. But it was just a mindset, I think, of having it. The louder the crowd, the more maybe electric, crazy environment, kind of the more focused I was, at certain times. And it was just fun to embrace, like you said, like Knoxville, Neyland is by far the most electric environment. In today's game, it probably was, back when we played. But I think everybody else tries to up that. And so when you go in somebody else's backyard, day game, especially a night game, they're trying to obviously put on their best show too. And we just try to go out there and just have fun with it, embrace it. And, fortunately for us, we came out with a bunch of wins.
Yeah, that Neyland effect is something different. I mean, and now, as you've seen, as the games that you've been able to make it back, I mean, you can't rebuild Neyland. Like the permits, the coding, you just couldn't do it anymore. And they have managed to squeeze up premium seating, put chair backs in, big video boards, jumbotrons, every possible way. You got the Vol Navy, all of these things. When I think of our time at Tennessee, we were called the comeback kids because we didn't panic. There was a difference in being ready and being prepared. And I think we were always prepared for that road test or somebody coming to Neyland and really showing up and showing out. And you said a name earlier that what I think is cool is guys that we got to play with that have come back and not only gone and had long NFL careers, but were like staples of the game in Knoxville. You come and see Peyton Manning. He comes back and delivers the Peyton Manning room, still teaches classes on campus. Yeah. You come back a lot. John Henderson's name, you brought that up, a few minutes ago to me. I think what you were best at is coming from Cali, you just kind of like a chill atmosphere. You talked about we'd go out on the lake. We would go out, in groups, socialize. You were no stranger to the Pike House for a little band party. And you would be like, and my guys would be like, hey, Iceman's at the door. You come in, hang out, but you might enjoy 2-3 songs, and then you're like, hey man, I got to get back watching tape for next week. I thought that was so cool. Talk about being a player, being the biggest player at the time on campus, and still interacting on a daily basis with people that are going to be cheering for us on Saturday.
Yeah, I think that's what made Tennessee so special. Was like we wanted everyone to be included, and so it really wasn't a defensive thing or an offensive thing. We wanted as many guys. So there was a barbecue. We wanted as many guys, to come and hang out. Lake trip. Then obviously when we would go, certain places, I've always kind of been like that, where I wanted everyone. Didn't matter if you were starter or backup, whatever. Like my guys were my guys, right? And we had so many guys from different, like I said, areas that it was just fun. We enjoyed being around each other, and no matter what we really did. We lived together, obviously, in Gibbs Hall for a certain amount of years, and a lot of us got places when we left Gibbs, but we always still somehow cultivated back to Gibbs, and we always went here or we went there, as a group, as together. People call it, family environment or family atmosphere, but that's kind of what we always, were, and that's, I think, what made, Tennessee really cool, and the culture, the environment, and like you said, a lot of the guys kind of set the way, for us, and obviously kind of told us what to do. Cedric Wilson, for me, was kind of like, okay, here's what you need to do. T as well, and obviously Peyton, but here's what you need to do. Here's where you go. Here's who you talk to. And ultimately, you got to get on the field. If you don't get on the field, forget it. You know what I mean? But if you do perform and do certain things, here's kind of how you should do things. And obviously, we talked about Max and Hawk and Frage. Peyton and T told me from day one, they run this university. You be most respectful, blah, blah, blah. They'll take care of you. And people kind of paved the way for us, and that's what, again, made it so fun. So when you, myself, and other guys, paved our way and earned the right to get on the field and performed, then it was our responsibility to kind of pass it along to the younger guys. And I think, hopefully we did a good job of doing that. But as I said before, man, those 4 years, I wouldn't trade anything for it, and the relationships that we were able to develop, and still to this day, still have with a bunch of the guys is special.
Yeah, it's a family environment, so much so Coach Heupel is bringing that back. I remember we had some closed doors around here where, the players need to focus. We don't need anybody coming back here that played, like a couple coaches there. And Coach Heupel, he was very specific. He was like, if you played here, I want you back. I want you around the guys. We got to create that family environment again. And I think that is, we've had so many good players come through here that had that family first mentality, because a lot of we get kids like you from California, Utah, Australia, like all over the place. My punter, he's number 98, and he had to fly 16 hours when he goes home. So there's some homesickness there. And so that family environment, when you bring players in and bring players back, I think is huge. And I think my favorite memories of, even once you guys were watching film, I was watching film, some of my favorite memories is not just a punt that set up the defense with like a really long field, but that reaction from the sideline from the defense, knowing they're doing a long diagonal line and we might get a safety here. Those things are huge deals that set up some of our big games. I remember punting 5 times against Alabama. We went into one of the craziest games that I've ever played in against Rex Grossman, and you outdueled him in the swamp for your first big win. Did it again in 2003. And so that camaraderie that we created, within those players, and it started, I think, that national championship game, like 98, 99. And today on the field, we were talking with a group of guys, and Coach Brooks, who coached some monsters, he said 2001 was our best team, then 99, then 98. Yeah. That's a tall order right there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we just had so many guys before us, and obviously so many guys while we were there. There's definitely some painful moments, in that 2001 era, coming off such a big high, at Florida, playing out Florida. Look at this guy. What are you doing?
What are you doing, man?
Hey, I was just asking him, where has he been? What are you doing, big guy? What's up, brother? How you doing? Man? How you been?
Man, I've been doing good, man. How you doing?
Hey, man, out here in Cali, just cranking out, man. Business. Hey, congrats on your award this Saturday.
Appreciate it. So you in California, huh?
Yes, sir. You're looking good, man. What's up?
Trying to keep the weight down, man. You know how sucky he is. He don't like us gaining weight. Rest in peace.
Hey, I saw a video about 2 weeks ago where your pregame thing was a Joey, and somehow it just pops up, and you might have to get the boys a little some of that come this Saturday for the game, huh?
Right. Hey, we need it, man. Hey, I watched the Georgia game of, when they broke the street on us and stuff, man. So I told the guys today, I said, man, we got to get this thing back going, man.
You're looking good.
Man, You looking good over there, what?
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
So this is crazy that we get to do this. Obviously, we're on HangTime right now, Vol for Life. We get to share this with Rocky Top Nation, but I was 2 seconds away from asking if there was anybody on the defensive line that you would not want to encounter busting through your offensive line. I think his name is the list. Just put John Henderson all the way down.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a great one for you. So it is my sophomore year. Big John comes back for his senior, and this is 2001. Like, this is the year where we're supposed to, crank it. And defense lights out. Offensively, first couple games, Dante busts his hand. A couple guys are dinged up, whatever, and we're not playing the way that we should be playing, right? So it's halftime. The score is like 10-7 or whatever, and we're down. And Big John comes in, and he kind of gives me this, this look, and I'll keep it, PG rated. And like, he had that because of what he did, and kind of like, and that was kind of how he just looked, you know what I'm saying? obviously second half we won the game, and that's when Kelly's coming out party, Washington, it was. But like that was just like how we not only were friends, but just respect. And he was such a not only on the field leader, but emotional for all of us. And I remember that like it was yesterday, and that pretty much set the tone for the entire 2001 year. So
yeah, like setting the tone. I'm so pumped on Saturday.
Oh yeah,
man, I'm so ready. Man, when you out there on that field, man, it was something going through me. It was like I was ready to line down, and no, I can't even line down right now.
Yeah. I knew I had a chance when my freshman year I came in the spring, and the defense was really, really good. And there's like 5 of us competing, and Boo Boo, Rashad Moore, Big John, Albert, Westmoreland, Anthony Sessions, they're lighting our little ass up. Like, there's no pink jerseys or green jerseys back then because we're competing. And I knew I had a shot when we started making some plays. They started running their mouth, and we make some more plays. I started hitting my ass late. And that's when Cedric, Big John, we're talking about. Cedric kind of told me, "Hey, here's how you get a tee." And I knew I had a shot when I was making some plays. They started popping off, and then make some more plays, and all of a sudden pop off some more. And then all of a sudden it kind of just like, oh, okay, this kid's not some soft, whatever,
Right.
From West Coast, right? And that's when I knew I kind of had a shot. Obviously, I had to perform and play, but the respect from the defensive guys, offense, obviously, you're playing offense, but when you got the respect from the other side of the ball, that's when I knew I had a shot. So shout out to you guys, man. Forgetting this young skinny kid, right?
Right.
I hope. Do you remember up on the jumbotron Riverside when they used to play his theme song up there on the jumbotron, and that big foot would come down and just smash people?
Big Bad John. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh! I remember looking up that, and I was like, I have no chance of probably getting tackled. Hopefully, I don't have to make a tackle. But I remember looking up there and then looking over the sidelines where the offensive coordinator would be talking to that quarterback, and that quarterback's got his helmet kind of tilted up, and he looks up there and he's just like, "Oh shit." This ain't good.
Talked about 01 and what Coach Brooks said. Big John inside, young Albert. I always called him Young Albert inside, and then it was Will, and then I don't know who the other end. Constantine Richmond the other end. You couldn't.
German assassin.
There it is.
Hey, that's what we call a front four back in the day.
Whoa, yeah. Woo.
That was wild. Yeah. Talk about Saturday while we have you on. I know you got a lot of stuff going on today. Like, what does that mean for our fans, for somebody like you to come back, had a very good NFL career, comes back where it all started? Talk about lining up with your guys and that atmosphere, that Neyland effect that comes in effect for these SEC games and really all games.
Man, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just a feeling. It's always there. Even when you're not even playing, you can feel it. If you know this game, you play this game. The feeling is there. The fans, you can hear 100. Is it 6 now? 109.
Yeah,
it done went to. It keeps going up.
I think it's 115,000 with the alcohol now in the stadium.
Good. Oh yeah.
It at least sounds like it now.
Yeah, they didn't have the alcohol back in the day when we were there. No.
But it's nothing like it, man. It's nothing like it. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're excited to see that. Well deserving, long overdue. I know that was the funnest part. I shared a story earlier, right before you came in, that I remember anything that a punter can do. He doesn't get a lot of accolades, doesn't get a lot of attention. That hidden battle comes into play. But man, when you drill a ball deep and it kicks out of bounds, I remember one time I started running fast because I saw that thing just heading down towards 5-yard line. And the coolest thing is watching on film, watching all the defense point back because they know they're guarding a long field now. And I got a paw from him in the helmet one time. That was only one of 2 concussions I think I've had in my entire life.
There you go.
The big boom. Man, I still got to punt more maybe.
Yeah.
So with this ceremony, we've seen guys that have come back in the past. Eric Berry, I remember watching that since I've been back. That was fun. That's got to bring up, like you said, some emotion. And every player that gets to come back, this is different. You're an Outland Trophy winner. That's a huge deal. They have like a trophy case. I remember that was one of my goals. Bring the Ray Guy trophy back to the complex. You were managed to do that. Talk about some of the guys that came before you that you learned from, and that how you like outfitted your game. I know I stole stuff from different people. I was like, he's good at this, you're good at that. Like, talk about that, because you had Coach Brooks constantly pouring into you guys. Casey talked about team chemistry. Who was something that the light switch came on and was like, this is it?
For me, I learned from Coach Brooks, Coach Chavis, Coach Allham, and then I listened to Big Cat, Darren Walker, all the people before me. You gotta see. I learned just to listen, take criticism, take coaching, and everything. Because I want to be the best. So you gotta hear, you gotta know what you need to do to be the best. So you go out there and you just listen. I watched Al Wilson when I was here in '98, but couldn't win a championship. That's why I was so hungry to have one. That's why I stayed, because I wanted that. I wanted that ring. The money was gonna be there.
Right.
You
can't take it away.
You can't take it away, and that's what it was, man. And I wanted it so bad. And we came up short, but we was there, right? We was there, and I won't take that away. I say, yeah, we made it. LSU ain't crap, but anyway.
That's the one. Yeah,
I think about like some of those games that we got to play together, and obviously we've remained friends, remained close. We get to come back and enjoy a university. Long before we're gone, this university is going to still be there, and rest assured, the program was built on guys like you that came and stayed for a purpose. Every day when you look up there, you see the SEC championships, the national championships, just trying to add another banner and add some hardware if possible. But I appreciate you coming into town. There's nobody more excited than these two guys that get to celebrate you at Neyland Stadium this Saturday.
Yes, brother. I'm going to get your number. You call me now. We go stay in contact, all right?
Let's do it. Great talking to you, brother.
Love you, man.
I said love.
All right,
too.
thank you. Okay.
I'll throw you guys on a text after this. Casey, you're staying with me.
All right.
Okay. Love you, brother.
Casey Clausen. Yeah.
You Big John.
I thought he was going to do the Ed Butler.
There it is. Oh, so good. Where's Eddie D at now? Where's that Butler at these days? No.
How about that?
You know he's coming on?
No, dude, he's a surprise. He's just driving around.
You're good. You're good. You're good at this. You're good at this.
He's good people here. All right, let's get back to our stuff.
But that right there, though, like that's shoot. I haven't seen Big John in how long? But like the play was yesterday. Like that. That's what Tennessee. The time we had the guys like what's all about right there, man.
Well, they don't. Twofold. We don't have to deal with we didn't have to deal with any of that social media nightmare. We could go out, hang out, be with whoever we want to. We just knew, like Coach Fulmer said, nothing good happens after 12 o'clock.
There it is.
And so he had some rules and stipulations, and like nobody broke that. Nobody wanted to run for anybody else.
No.
And I remember, though, just hanging out. That was the best time because we had to kind of pre-plan. We're like, hey, we're going to meet here on the strip, RT Warehouse at such and such o'clock, and then we can figure it out from there. We do our thing, hang out, and I thought that was more powerful because then when you have a student base as passionate as they are about Tennessee football, and you're hanging out with them. We had to go to class. Miss Judy Jackson would have kicked our butts.
Oh yeah.
If we weren't in class.
We had class checkers, we had all that stuff. Half the kids now, they're not even going to the campus. They're taking it online, which I think is total. You're missing the whole purpose of, like you said, like intermingling with the students because, shoot, just as much as we appreciate what they do, they think it's pretty cool when someone's sitting in the class, 2 seats over for them, right? And I think nowadays, I heard a lot of kids that don't even go to school. I mean, they take classes from wherever. I don't know. The whole student, athlete, environment, atmosphere, I'm sure it's really cool at a lot of different schools, but it's just different in the South. It's different in the SEC, and obviously, at Tennessee, I think it's obviously a little biased, the best.
The best. And I'll tell you a story real quick here is we're on HangTime, Vol for Life edition. I remember one time I was walking down the strip and I get honked at, and I turn around, and it's a yellow H2 Hummer. And I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? And he goes, hey, you going to communications class? And I was like, yeah. How did you know that? He goes, I'm in your class. And so I was like, all right, cool. So I jump in this H2 Hummer, which I had like a banged up Dodge Durango. So I'm like, man, who is this kid? So long story short, his name's Joby Hawkins from South Carolina. He didn't want to go to Clemson, didn't want to go to the armpit of Columbia, South Carolina, play for the Gamecocks, so he wants to go to Tennessee. So he picks me up. I get to know him a little bit better. I still talk to him to this day. I even went to a spring break with him one year. We drive over to Carolina, and I go in his house. I'm like, this is like a English, like some kind of like, no, it looks like some kind of mansion. I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? He goes, well, my grandfather started Craftsman Tools.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
And I'm like, oh, my God. I was like, oh, wow, you're kind of a big deal. And so we get to talking. I've talked to him. He would come to our playoff games and watch the Chiefs playoff games, and we still communicate. So to your point, I hate the online classes.
Yeah.
I think it's super important to mesh, because as much as I talk to you guys, I talk to guys that were in my classes still.
Yep.
And so with Georgia coming to town, I want to make a quick thing, because this is the earliest we've had to ever play them. I think October 7th might have been the next earliest time. This morning, fall is in the air. I was super pumped about getting to be with you on this podcast and like catch up. I can't think of a better guy to start the second week. You've played all the big games. You have known what these guys are going through. We have a little different element, though. The talent is totally spread out because of this NIL thing. Yeah. That's kind of like blanketed college football, Spire Sports, whoever their collective is. Kind of talk about your thoughts on some of that and how that's kind of changed the game. And the chemistry.
Yeah. First, I'll do the big game stuff. To me, every game was an opportunity for us, right, when we played. Obviously, we knew if we were playing such and such team versus Georgia, Florida, Alabama. I think the biggest key that we tried to focus on is just go play the game. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you're going to make some plays. They're going to make some plays. Like, enjoy it. Live it up. If there's one thing that I think when you're in it, you're trying to do the best you can, but when it's gone and you've moved on, boy, it goes by fast. You know what I mean? And to go one more time in front of 105 and play on national TV, I do that in 2 seconds, right? I mean, so that's kind of like what we always approach to say. Just have fun, embrace it, enjoy it, compete, do the best you can, and hopefully come out with a win. In regards to today's landscape, NILs are everywhere. As we were talking earlier, like everything that's gone on in collegiate athletics has now trickled down, to high school sports. Again, there's no secrets. Back in the day, if you performed, you got maybe some certain perks, right? Or whatever they want to call it. But I think now they're enhancing, basically paying kids before their ass ever even gets there. You know what I mean? And that's where I think it's just a different beast. People always tell me in our business, what we do, what's your house worth? And I would say, well, what's your house worth? And then the answer is what someone's willing to pay for it. So basically, this current collective of collegiate athletics, coaches, athletic directors, they're chasing a ghost. A quarterback is worth what? Could be X today, by next week it's something else. A punter, a defensive tackle, Big John, what's he worth today? Could change next week, could change next month. A receiver, starting left tackle. So I'm all for guys getting paid, always have been. I mean, shoot, we had the scratch and claw just to go take the guys out somewhere to have a group dinner or whatever, right? So
common meal.
Yeah, there it is, right? But at least perform first, And so my whole thing is it should be at a school because you enjoy waking up in the morning, you're motivated, excited about going to class, but competing at the highest level with your guys. And if you do what you need to do, believe me, the money will be there, as Big John said, down the road. If you're not that guy, then maybe an opportunity for 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is, to play at high level, ball. And if you're not that guy, then you transfer out. And when kids used to transfer back in the day with us, because they weren't good enough, it's still the same thing. Majority of these kids are transferring because they're not good enough, and so they're going to a certain school. Yes, there is that 1 or 2% that are good enough, that are moving up or going a lateral move, but hey, I'm only getting $1.5 million here, and this school's going to give me $2 million. So I don't fault the kids for it. Hopefully sooner rather than later, I think the universities will do what they got to do. I think they're putting some sort of cap on it, whatever. But I just think you got to protect the universities, the coaches, and the athletic departments by, I think it's too damn easy, you know what I mean, to jump ship when they want to. And I'm from the old school cloth like you. Hey, if you're good enough, you got to compete every single day to get your butt better to keep your job. If you're not good enough, you don't have your job, you work your ass harder to try to get a spot. And I think competition is kind of a lost art in today's society.
Yeah, sure. It's an easy out for somebody that doesn't like to compete, and they can go
way too easy.
Months.
Way too easy. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of things that I really do like about NIL is it encourages kids to go out and make appearances, do things for business.
Yes.
That connection piece in business post football career, I really do like. I think they'll figure it out. I mean, we could get the guys in this room together with you in 30 minutes and figure out the pay for play and conduct detrimental to the team, and have certain stipulations where you have a guy like, hey, look, it's like Andy Reid. I remember he always told us when he brought us in. He's like, I want your personalities to show, and we're going to spend 108% of our cash. We want to pay you guys, and we want you guys to interact with the community. On my contract in Kansas City, it was mandatory 5 appearances in the public, and you end up doing 10 or 15. And Knoxville is very similar to the fan base, and so I appreciate that portion of it, is like that business build, post career. As far as, man, we talked about this guy a little bit earlier. I want to talk about like in-game situations. I can't think. I go back to the Hail Mary stuff, Florida, James Banks. You had several. We talked about Kelly Washington. Talk about some of the guys that are on that you got to throw the ball to, that you got to go to war with, and you got to get in the classroom and figure out how to beat some of these big SEC schools, and maybe some of the comparisons that we have here and the chemistry we've already seen from Joey.
Yeah. It started obviously as a freshman with Cedric, Wilson, and David Martin. John Finlayson was our tight end. They kind of set kind of the platform of how to do things and when to do it, and kind of what they expected of the quarterback at Tennessee. And then in my sophomore year, again, that was the year, right? I mean, it was Dante, it was Bobby Graham. Obviously, Kelly came in over from baseball. Jason really took off, his sophomore year for us. Travis Stevens was our running back. James was one of the best athletes I ever played with, by far. Junior year was tough. We lost a bunch of guys. Guys got hurt, banged up. I broke my, collarbone. Not the smartest thing. Try to go out there and play. But we knew going into my junior year that we're going to need to replace some of those guys. We just lost so many guys. Rashad Baker and Mark Jones were 2 guys. I don't know if you remember this crazy story. They came in as offensive guys. Yeah. We were so deep and so lowered on offense that Chief and the coaches needed some athletes to play DB. So we lost them. And Rashad went to safety, and obviously Mark went to safety, nickel. Well, fast forward to 2002, and we're thin. And I went to bat and didn't do a very good sales job with Coach Fulmer, Coach Sanders, and most important, Coach Chavis, Chief, because we didn't move him. So we had to move James, who was a backup quarterback, to receiver. And he did a phenomenal job of that. And my senior year, obviously, which was probably the most, satisfying year, because we weren't first round, second round guys. We were just a really young team, had a couple really good players, but, we overcame, maybe they call it overachieved, whatever you want to call it. But a lot of those guys overachieved, and we had a bunch of freshman kids and sophomore guys, and here I am, and we're older, and we can bury our head in the sand and get our ass kicked, or we got to coach these guys up, right? And so we've developed these young kids, and that was probably my most fun. In transaction to the current guys, what Joey's done when he first came in, the best thing he did is he said nothing. He went to work, which is kind of how we used to do it back in the day, right? You have to not only work with these guys on the field, but you got to get to know them. You know what I mean? Like where you from and what you like to do, and that could be over lunch, could be at a barbecue, whatever it is. And so, again, that goes only so far, and then obviously you got to perform. At the end of the day, no matter where you're from, no matter what your background is, if you can play, you're going to get our respect. You know what I mean? If you can't play and you think you can, we're just going to look right through you. And that's, I think, what he's been able to do. This is a very young, very talented group of receivers, but they're young. You know what I mean? They only had maybe, they're 15, 20 plus catches total as a unit, but they're talented. And the more time you put into them, yes, you can jump them. Yes, you can get on them, which I was known as, getting on guys when they weren't doing things, but you also got to love on them. And I think once they get your respect and your trust, they'll run through a wall for you. And I think that's what, in a brief amount of time from what I've seen, Joey do. And I think they're going to put on a show, this Saturday. And like I said before, quarterback's a different position, man. And you know this, like you got to have all 11 units, working as one, and you can look really, really good at times, and you did nothing. And other times you can look really, really, really bad, and it's got to all click. But I'm excited, obviously for the future, where this thing's going. The offense is phenomenal. I mean, shoot, Dustin. I mean, what Coach Heupel and Coach Halsey and those guys do offensively with the splits, the formations. And here's the best part about it. They spread you because they want to run it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. It's a physical downhill running game. They just spread you to spread you. And when they do get the numbers that they want, or they do overload the box, and you get the one-on-one matchups, then they take their shots. And it's an unbelievable offense to watch.
Yeah, Joey's been fun to kind of watch. I think he takes your approach when he's dealing with the guys, the young receivers or guys that have been here longer than him.
Yep.
Obviously, Mike Matthews was really fun to watch last Saturday. You said this, and I firmly believe that when Joey talks to his receiver, he's like you. He's like, I'm going to have 5 positive interactions before I have a criticism. These guys, so they accept that. Sometimes it's hard to do that. When I think about Mark Jones, I've kept up with him like down through the years, and like I think what's important about SEC play is you got to have players, if they're not going offense, defense, they're doing some kind of defense and special teams. And I remember games where Mark would have 140 plus yards in kick returns, a 51-yard interception, return back deep inside. That shortens the field for you and the offense. I mean, those guys are fun to watch. We got a guy, Boo Carter, that does it better probably than anybody in college football right now, plays really good defense. When he comes up, he hits you like John Henderson, but he also, when he catches punts, you see guys screaming with their hair on fire trying to get down to him because he is dangerous. Talk about Boo Carter's impact on the game this Saturday.
Huge. I mean, the return game, everyone talks about offensively and defensively, but the return game is huge. You just call it, hidden field position? I mean, that's what you did, especially in certain games where we couldn't get out of our own way offensively. You'd always pin them inside the 15, the 10, the 5. I mean, that's a huge advantage because you're just shorting the field. In today's game, especially on Saturday, the odds of us or Georgia driving 10-play, 12-play, 80, 90-yard drive, probably not going to happen a whole lot, right? So if you're able to get a short field due to a punt return, or you're able to pin them due to an unbelievable punt by the punter, it just enhances it. The wild card to me are the fan base. I mean, they're going to have a nice little Friday night, and then they're going to have a nice little Saturday morning from about 7 to about, so East Coast, 3, and then they're going to go walk in that stadium. That place is going to be unbelievable. So the crowd noise obviously will enhance, I think, the whole atmosphere, and I just think with Boo in the special team as well as always playing defense can be a huge difference maker game. Mark Jones for us, especially my senior year, we're talking obviously Georgia. What Champ Bailey was for Georgia back in the day, two-way guys who was unheard of back in the day, or I'm not saying he is or was, but what Travis Hunter was for Colorado last year, that's who Mark Jones was for us. My senior year, I think it was your junior year, because again we were razor thin, and I mean razor thin at receiver. We had to take James Banks over to from quarterback to receiver, and Mark was starting defense with obviously Bake and Jabril and Julian Battle. He was punt returner, and he was my go-to guy, at wide receiver, that year. And so what he did in, 2003, is like unheard of 20 whatever years ago. Today, now it's enhancing. I mean, guys think they can enhance their ability, enhance their stock, not only the collegiate level, but potentially at the next level, the NFL, by playing multiple positions and multiple sides of the ball. So, I think Boot can be an unbelievable asset for us on Saturday. But I just want to give a shout out to what Mark Jones did for us, because that was unbelievable. To be, forget just physically, but to be mentally capable and to be that athlete, to be in shape to handle that in the SEC. Come on, man. That was unreal. Pretty good that senior, of course.
Yeah, and I think of a really big, back heavy class that we had, and guys just around that area. My first year or so playing, as you and all of them contributed big on special teams, not only in the return unit, but also the coverage unit. Sometimes that's the most important is, man, when we punt, we don't want anything coming back. So you got like Cedric Houston, Derek Tinsley, Corey Larkin, Jabari Davis, like guys, sometimes running backs are like, man, if I'm running the rock, I don't want to do a kick return. But Peyton's like, I got you. Number 2, he's like, I got you too. So I remember in some of those games, like the Miami game, Sean Taylor, on the sidelines, we could have just let him, fair catch it, but he wanted all of that. Him and Roscoe Parrish, we go down there, it's 10-6. We got a punt at the end of the game. It's windy. Yep. And if those guys don't cover, that doesn't happen, because that ball just spits out, and we end up just rattling off some huge wins in Florida that year. I love catching up with some of those guys that knew that special teams, when you're razor thin on offense or defense like that, special teams is going to come up big. That started with General Neyland. He set the game maxims, and I thought that was a great reminder right before we hit the field. Like, hey, offense, defense, special teams. It's all a third. Coach Heupel right now, he spends so much time, more than anybody, not only on the field during special teams, but in meetings. He is always around and in that game. And I told my punter, who is the best in the NCAA at pinning opponents back inside the 10-yard line, he's been phenomenal. He's working on that spiral ball, but he's been so clutch. I think he did get a little nervous seeing Big John at practice today. I said, Jackson, I know you're wearing number 98, but if you come out and your jersey has a zipper on it down the front, that means they retired Big John Henderson's jersey this week, and we got to find you another number.
No, I love that. Yeah, he everyone will be watching, obviously, both sides of the ball, offense and defense, but you hit on the head in big games, especially this Saturday, hidden field position, and then obviously return game. Whoever makes the big plays, as they say. I mean, there's going to be, like we talked about, 6 to 8 plays in a game. Good, or maybe sometimes not good. That's going to determine, the outcome game. And I love what Coach Heupel says too. It's all about one-on-one matchups, and I love that. It's not just the receivers and the DBs. It's our punter versus their punter, our kicker, their kicker, our left tackle versus their defensive end, our running backs on who? Their linebackers. And I love how he puts that, because it will come down to one-on-one matchups. And at the end of the day, who makes the most plays? And then you know what the best part about it is? That's in Pee Wee ball, that's in high school ball, that's in college ball, and in the big boy league. It comes down to matchups, and that's what I think is exciting to watch, and I'm super anxious to see how the guys play.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I know Coach Hype, he's so fun to watch kind of prior to a game. He's like, we're not peaking too soon, right? Like, you don't want to peak too soon. It's kind of the calm before the storm, the lead up. Man, I appreciate you coming on today, this episode of HangTime, Fall for Life edition. It's so much fun to catch up with you. Literally a player that people look back at and say, man, this kid won some massive, massive games. And, whenever you can refer, and when guys come back and kind of spread that love and show what we're all about here on Rocky Top, appreciate you coming on with us today. Looking forward to seeing you hopefully here in a couple of weeks or this season at some point. And, man, go Vols. Big game. 2 things had to happen. We had to have a loss, or it was going to Morgantown. Like, a couple things had to happen, and the football god said, nah, game day's on Saturday in Knoxville.
Yeah, be great. And I appreciate you having me on. Obviously, Dustin, great to catch up, and look forward to the big game on Saturday. Go Vols.
Love you, Iceman. Appreciate you.
Love you, brother. See you, man.